welcome back. This is Dave with another Your Southern Fix video, I'm sorry. In the last video, I done a fix and repair, clean carburetor on a Husqvarna riding lawnmower. And as you see the jacket, it's getting cold here in Middle Tennessee, so I want to go ahead and get this boat motor winterized, show y'all how to do it. A simple, easy way. You ain't got to take it to the shop, spend a bunch of money, and do it an easy way. I've seen people hook water hoses up to the muffs and run fresh water through them after they've been setting for 2 or 3 weeks. Why would you want to run fresh water through a motor right before winter? Don't make a bit of sense to me, so I'm going to show you how to do it with just straight antifreeze from the top to the bottom. So let's get this cow off and I'll show you what we're going to do. Take the cow off, lay that up there on the boat. Alright, what I like to do is I'm going to start with taking these spark plug wires off. Do them one at a time so you don't get them mixed up. Just bust the spark plugs loose and take all the spark plugs out of it. Just lay them over here to the side anywhere. Alright. What I usually do is in the springtime, when I get it fired back up, ready to go to the lake, I'll put new spark plugs in it anyway, because these done got some use out of them. Okay. Then we're going to take a can of this here. This is a power lube. You can use any kind of lubricant you want. Just want to keep them cylinders from getting dried out and the rings from getting messed up or stuck or anything in the winter time. So just want to spray some oil inside there. Done that one. I'll come down here and do this one. Don't be greedy with it. Put it on in there. Let it set for a few minutes. We're going to come over here to this side. We're going to do the same thing. Pull the spark plug wires off. Don't get them mixed up. Pull one out. Lay them to the side. Pull this wire off. Alright. Yep, didn't get that one over. There we go. Gonna pull this spark plug out. We're gonna do the same thing as we did on the other side. Like I said, don't be greedy with this stuff. Just literally just cake it in there. Be real generous with it. Alright. Here we'll put a little bit of this and put on there so they ain't getting all rusty and stuff through the winter from moisture and condensation and all that. I'm going to put them back in. Get that one. Like I said, it's real simple. You ain't got to take it to the shop worrying about something's going to break or bust. You ain't got to take you just a little bit. Don't need to over tighten these. Just snug them up a little bit. Put your spark plug wires back on so that, well, I don't want to do that yet. We'll go over here. I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Spray these a little bit. Put this one in. Get the bottom one. Spray a little bit. A little harder to get to that one, but alright, there it went. Alright, snug this side up, don't over tighten them. They're coming back out in the spring anyways. I always put new ones in. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna we wanna make sure there ain't no water in this system. If this thing's been setting and down like it is now for a week, it's pretty much drained all the water out of itself. But this is always a precaution. Always want to run some antifreeze through it. So what I like to do here is take some duct tape right here, some cheap dollar store duct tape. Take a piece off here, bring it down here. You got a water port right here. That pulls in your water, pumps it through the motor and everything, keeps your heads and everything cool while you're running on the lake. Like take and put a little bit of that on there. We're going to do the other side the same way. Most people, like, you know, you want to pull water through these. I don't want water to pull through these. I want this to hold the water, the antifreeze in. We're not using no water because water is what's going to break your motor in the wintertime. So I want those there. Eventually it's going to come off anyway. Okay. Now, you take your crescent wrench again. Right here. These here are basically, be careful with these when you kind of hold your thumb on them because they're spring loaded. They kind of like a thermostat. You got a spring inside of it. This is basically like a thermostat here. You'll get them and pull them out. I feel air coming through it. Everything's good there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to lay this aside over here. Then I'm going to take off the other side just like it. Like I said, keep your hand on it because it is spring loaded. Alright, you can pull this one out just like you did the other side. Feel some air coming through that. Everything's good there. So I'm going to lay this one to the side over here. Then, I don't know where yours is at, but I've got 3 on this motor. I'm going to push this button and I want to tilt this motor up in the air. Like that right there. So I can pour stuff down there without it all going into here. Because I want to get this whole motor from the top to the bottom filled up with antifreeze. Then if it comes out after that, you ain't got to worry about it. Usually probably wouldn't need them, but I'm going to put them on here just for like a helper to help push the tape on there. Try to keep the tape from not coming out. Just to help hold it. Okay. Then all you need to do is take a jug, a 1 gallon jug of 50/50 antifreeze. Don't matter what brand you buy, what color it is, and carp or RV, it don't matter. It'll take, and we're gonna get up here and we're gonna pour it right down the motor. See, it's coming out the bottom already, so That's all, we know that's all the way up to the water pump and everything. You can see it coming out right here. We know that's got the water pump and everything. Okay, now you want to come over here, do the same thing. You ain't going to need but about a half a gallon of this. There we go. Coming out again just like it did on the other side. So we know we got pure antifreeze all the way up to the water pump, to the heads, and there ain't no fresh water in that engine. Now I can go ahead, lower the engine. In the wintertime, you always want to keep this engine all the way at its lowest point, because that way it cannot hold any water inside that engine at this lowest point right here. It will drain off anything that comes in it. Alright, want to put this back in. That, got your spring. We'll get your spring lined up. Screw these back in. And I guarantee you there ain't no fresh water inside them engine, in these heads, in none of the columns, in the bottom, in the water pump housing, anywhere in there. So I'm just going to hand tighten these for now, which is almost as tight as I can get them with a wrench. Because they got O-rings on them, and them O-rings keep the leak from leaking out any water, and the only time you got any pressure is when this motor's running, and that ain't really a lot of pressure, not on one of these with that little rubber water pump they got. Okay, there's that one. Okay, now I'm going to have to pick the motor up just to here again. Okay, I'm going to grab these muffs and pull them off. There ain't no sense in taking that duct tape off right now. I mean, it's fine. It's holding antifreeze in there, so that's the best thing you could ask for. Got me a screwdriver here. If you look right here, there's a screw at the top, and you can hardly see it, but there's one way down here in the bottom. This is your gear oil drain. This is your gear oil fill. When you're filling up and you drain this completely, you take this one out and fill it up till it runs out. When it runs out, you put the screw in, you're full. But what you want to do is you want to loosen this bottom one. That came pretty good. Okay, what I'm looking for here is gear oil gets in the bottom. And if there's any water got in here somehow from a seal or anything, the water's always at the bottom and the gear oil's at the top, because the oil floats on top of water. So you want to pull this plug out just for a second. And see, if any water runs out of this thing, drain it completely. And look what I got. I got regular oil. There's no water whatsoever in that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my plug back in. If you would have got a lot of water out of that, you would have needed to pull this screw and this one out, and get a bucket and drain the whole system, this whole bottom end, and then in the spring put new gear oil in it. But luckily I got a perfect bottom end and not a drop of water in it. And you don't believe me, you don't find that very often. Okay. Now, y'all are probably wondering why I didn't put spark plugs back on the motor yet. Okay, what I want to do is I want to get up there. I don't want this motor to start, and I want to hit my ignition key just once or twice, move them rings on that oil I sprayed in there. Then I'll put my spark plug wires back on, then put my cowl back on, the hood, and this thing's ready for winter. Ain't nothing can hurt it. Here we go. I'm just going to reach up under the tarp here, find the key, and we're going to start that, turn it over. Alright, that's all you want to do right there. Just turn it over a couple times, get them rings moving in that new oil grease you put in there. And let's go back to putting spark plug wires on. Alright, this one I left on top, because it goes on top, right? Got one here hanging in the bottom, because it goes on the bottom. Same thing over here. I got one hanging up here on top, which means it goes on the top. Then I got one laying down here in the bottom to put on the bottom. And now I want to go ahead, like I said, all winter long, you want this motor to be at its lowest point. It cannot hold any water in that position. If any water was to get in here, anywhere in this motor, the cowl or anything, it will drain out and you ain't got to worry about it. But we know we filled this motor all the way up to the top of the heads. All the ports, everything, there's no clean, fresh water in this. It's all fresh antifreeze. So, let's go ahead and put the cowl back on it. Hood, whatever you all want to call it. Make sure it's on there good and tight. Flip the switches, lock it down. Flip that switch and lock it down. And take and put up all of our stuff here so the kiddos don't get a hold of stuff they don't need to be in. And this motor's winterized. This boat's ready for the winter. And that's all you need to know, and you ain't got to take it to the shop. Look how simple that was. Didn't take long at all. That duct tape little trick right there, it makes a big difference. And I appreciate you watching my videos. Please like and subscribe. Really helps my channel a lot. And I hope this helps everybody. It saves you a lot of money. And we love you. We're out of here.